I'm the fourth child of five. My dad called us the A-Jets: Anne, John, Elizabeth, Thomas, Sarah. A-Jets, which was a really great name in the 60s when we were growing up with the space age, and it echoed ideas of travel and possibilities and all that was to be, but that really wasn't the reality of our home. My dad was a minister, big church, and he had a lot of stuff that he expected us to do. Most of that fell on not Anne, but John, my older brother, who he kind of groomed to become a minister. And all of us were groomed that way to go and to do and to be. And unfortunately, 2 days after his 18th birthday, John was killed by a drunk driver. And as the second son, the last remaining son in a very patriarchal family, I adopted a whole lot of stuff. When I was 16, in Presbyterian polity, I went under care of the presbytery to become a Presbyterian minister. I went to the University of Tulsa and did religious studies. And when I got done with that education, when I was graduating, about ready to graduate, I went to my dad and I said, you know, Dad, I'm wanting to go to seminary. I'm not sure really why, but I'm not ready to go. I need some space. I need some time. And he said, well, what are you going to do at that time? Are you going to go flip burgers? I said, well, I'd like to travel. Well, where would you travel? I'd like to go to India. My graduation, everybody was there, and I got a card from my dad, and in that card was a ticket to India. 6-month ticket to India. After I opened it, he gave me a backpack, and he gave me an itinerary of mission stations that the Presbyterian Church had established around India, hospitals and schools here and there, and they were all over India. And so off I went on this grand adventure. I mean, I think about that now. I have two sons of my own. One just graduated from college. Another one is in graduate school. The idea of sending my children to the other side of the world in 1982, no internet, no way to connect. Off you go. You got it, kid. I can't imagine. I got to Delhi, and I had done research. My dad had done research, and I was able to buy a ticket. I was able to buy a ticket. It was this little cardboard ticket about the size of a postage stamp, and I don't know if it was in Hindi or Marathi. All I knew was it gave me unlimited train travel for 6 months. And off I went. I traveled and I saw, boy, I remember the first night I was on a train, there was a first class ticket, first class berth. And I went into this train car, and there was this family there, and they had their little containers of their curry, and the whole place smelled of curry, and they didn't speak English, and my berth was this vinyl covered seat that would fold up and be braced, and that's where I was to be. And I curled up there, and I was scared, but I rode. And after a while, I learned that second class was a whole lot more fun because that's where everybody was. And so I'd ride back there, and you could stand, you could look at the everything go by, and I knew these stops that Dad had arranged. And I'd arrive, and one of those was this place called Ludhiana. It's up kind of near Nepal, and there's this hospital. And I went there, and I was supposed to meet the director of the hospital. Arrived at like 6 in the morning, took a rickshaw to get there, got out there, the guard, and I was like, I need to see whomever. Oh yeah, he left. Yeah, he's no here. Okay. And he took me to this other guy, and they brought me in, and they welcomed me. And I traveled, and ultimately I came home. And I landed in JFK. And my dad, who lived in Springfield, Missouri, was there to meet me. And he said, Tom, you have traveled around India. You can do anything you want. And in that, he gave me a ticket to ride.